I want to thank everybody for being back for another episode of Warrior Talk. Get inspired and be empowered. That's our logo.
There you
and
go.
We're glad you're here. So we really got a lot of things to cover. And I say that every week because we do. And sometimes we wonder, are we going to get all this in? Yeah, but last week, we discussed having a support system, which everybody needs that. And we covered that topic, and we also looked at Malachi 4. Listen, guys, things are terrible right now. Stuff is going on. We're still blessed. We're still living in a free country. We've got lots of people to pray for. But, in the end, God's got this. And in the end, he is going to see that justice prevails.
That's right.
And we're still praying for Israel. Israel is, things are really, I don't know what the word would be, bubbling up over there. And, I was watching, Brent, one of the shows that you had. I would like for you, if you don't mind, because it's so closely intermingled with what's going on in Israel right now. Would you just kind of touch on the relationship that you have with Avi? What's his name? Avi Lipkin?
Avi Lipkin. And yeah, Avi is a dear brother, dear friend. Met Avi, back in 2009. And he got his start on GLC, one of the networks that you can experience what we're doing. Avi started the Bible Block Party. And the Bible Block Party was the first political party of its kind, that included Christians and Jews, and Messianics as well. But he started that many years ago. He's a best way to describe it, a Sovietologist. He's an expert in Sovietology, what they do, what they've been doing, what they're doing here, in regards to communism, socialism, their strategies. Of course, he also was in the IDF. His wife was in Israeli intelligence. Avi is loved by so many churches. Boy, someone's really lighting me up. Loved by so many churches across America. And the interesting thing about Avi is that not only does he tease me about being German, of German descent and Irish, we always have fun with that. But we truly are brothers, He says, Brant, he said, one time I called Christians Gentiles, and my wife corrected me. He loves his wife. She's I believe, Egyptian Jew, beautiful family. And she said, no. We serve the same God. So Christians are not Gentiles. They're branches. We're the roots and they're the branches. And so we developed a good relationship through the years. We do a weekly update called As Goes Israel. I named it that because as goes Israel, folks, so goes the world. We've been taught that Israel doesn't matter. Well, that's a lie. The eyes of the world is always focused on Israel, and what happens in Israel affects everything. If there's war with Israel, it trickles down to what you're paying for groceries and oil, folks. So we do a weekly update of what's happening, boots on the ground in Israel. And also we've talked about what's happened recently in Israel as well.
Yeah. He just seems like a really neat guy. I'd like to meet him sometime. And he seems like he has a wealth of knowledge. And I thought, well, since there's so much going on in Israel right now, I just kind of wanted to know a little bit more about him. And I'm sure that our viewers can find. Do you do a show with him on a regular basis?
Yes, we usually go live every Monday morning at 10 a.m. And he's right there in Israel. He's right there, in the desert. And depending on what we talk about, we may get interruptions in service because speech is very closely monitored there as well. They also have socialists and communists in leadership as well. And so, it's common in every country to a degree. So, but we're able to talk what's happening, boots on the ground, and every Monday, 10 a.m. Central.
Every Monday, 10 a.m. Well, Brent, I know that we talked about one thing that we wanted to refresh today, and that was the Knight's Creed. I love that. I think it's something that everybody can apply to their life, and it gives them an idea of what it entails to walk the walk and talk the talk, and to be a warrior for Christ. Let's recap that. I know you've got 4 statements for the creed.
Right. Well, it's live pure, speak truth, right, wrong, and follow the King. Live pure.
My favorite part.
Speak truth, right, wrong, follow the King. It's hard to do the others if you don't have the right King, folks, but live pure. Do your best to put only, the Bible tells us, whatever is pure, whatever is noble, right? Think on these things, right? Whatever you put into your mind matters. Whatever you put into your heart, whatever you put into your body matters. Someone once said that we're all buckets, and what we're full of splashes out when we get hit. Well, when you go through a crisis, you always revert to your level of training, right? And so living pure, if you choose to set your mind on things above, and even down to taking care of this earth suit we've been given for this time, this body, live pure, and to absorb pure things, it makes a difference. Speak the truth. I tell you what, I don't have to remember anything if I just speak the truth. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And in a country where roles are confused, especially masculinity, you know what? Be a man that says what you mean and mean what you say. The cowboy churches, they don't have a problem with that. They don't have a problem with masculinity. They say what they mean, and by God, they mean what they say. And so that goes a long way when you speak the truth. Speak it in love, but you speak the truth. If you're on a highway and a semi's coming, I'm going to run and get you out of the way. I don't want to offend her. Well, that means I don't love you. No, I do love you. I'm going to run and get you out of the way. I may even take a hit. I may even get hit in the process. It's because I'm speaking the truth, right? And I'm caring and I'm speaking in love. That's what love is. And then right, wrong. Forgive everybody today, folks. I forgive everybody. And forgive yourself. If you're on a plane that's going down, what are you doing? You're forgiving everybody. And you're forgiving yourself, right? You want to have a clean heart. And then finally, follow the King. Live pure, speak truth, right, wrong, follow the King. I choose to follow the King of Kings, which is Jesus, Yeshua, Yesu. The list goes on. He answers by those, but he is who he is. He's the Son of God who died for me, and he is the King of Kings. So I follow the King.
Yes, I follow him too, Brent.
I know.
Yeah. I don't understand the people that are naysayers. And we talked about that a couple of shows back. I don't understand how they can think that they don't need Jesus.
Right.
I guess, at one time in my life, I didn't think I needed him either. But It didn't take very much for me to realize that I really did. And then once you learn how much you need him, then you start learning how to serve him and how to be that warrior. And being a warrior is deliberate. It's not something that you take lightly. It's not something that just happens to you. It's a decision. It's a conscious decision to put those creeds or that creed into action and to really be somebody that makes a difference for Christ. And I don't know. Can I share what happened about our topic for today, Brent?
Yes, please do.
It was so weird. Well, I say weird, but it's not weird because God speaks to me in very strange ways sometimes, or strange to us. And I was thinking about all of the things that we're doing for Christ.
Right.
And I'm not just talking about you and me. I'm talking about anybody out there that is physically doing things to try and make a difference for Christ. And sometimes we get overwhelmed. Sometimes we get overworked. Sometimes, it's like that. It's like that old commercial with this is going to age me really quickly. But the commercial about, hey, Mikey, let Mikey try it. Yeah.
Mikey likes it.
He knows everything. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. I know my little blonde brain thinks sometimes.
Hey, I referenced that commercial too. I remember that commercial. Yeah.
I had a cousin named Mike, and we had T-shirts that had like Mikey likes it made for him. But anyway, back to the subject. When there's people that see that you are known for something, then they're drawn to you. And sometimes they will start requesting things from you. And as a servant of Christ, we always want to be fruitful. And sometimes we forget that we're only one person.
Right.
And I was thinking about the analogy, and I was talking to the Lord, and I said, Lord, there's so many things on our hearts, so many things that we can talk about on Warrior Talk. And he said, just deliberately out of the blue, I heard him say, you will be speaking on measuring your time.
There you go.
It was as simple as that. And I stood there going, wow, that is so profound, because
Right.
he was dealing with me at that moment, because here I am trying to do everything at once.
Right.
And we really do have to measure our time. And the scripture immediately came to mind about the steps of a good man,
right.
or woman
Yeah.
are ordered by the Lord. If we do anything else outside of that box, we're going to self-destruct, no matter how
Right.
good our intentions are.
Right.
And you take that back to the warrior mentality.
Mm-hmm.
A warrior carries out his instructions, and that's all he does.
Yeah.
It's not instructions plus this, and it's, hey, I got a better idea. Or instructions plus, well, maybe not today. He carries out the instructions of his commander.
Right.
And Jesus Christ is our commander. What do you have to say about that, Brent? I'd be interested to hear your take on that.
Well, Heather, I prayed a very dangerous prayer years ago. And because of the different things I'm involved with, you see a lot of darkness, when you're addressing child sex trafficking, when you're addressing terrorism in the world, when you're addressing the occult, which a lot of those things go hand in hand. You see a lot of darkness, and it dawned on me that my enemies pray for Lucifer to possess them. And I was traveling with Christy, my wife, and she was reading out of Gideon. And there was a point in the story of Gideon where, after God had purposely depleted Gideon's men by having him select and remove, it said, and the Lord took possession of Gideon. And I thought, wow, the Lord took possession of Gideon. When's the last time I prayed for Jesus to take possession of me? And I prayed that prayer, and it rocked my world. Jesus, take possession of me. Well, what I have to say about it is this, that when you pray for God to take your life over, doesn't mean he'll send you to Africa, but it does mean that you're, it's almost like, God, take possession of me, and he gives you a set of glasses and you see things through the kingdom perspective, where when you awake in the morning, it's no longer, well, what am I going to do today? Or what have I got to do today? But you're asking the Lord, what do you want to see on the earth today?
Yeah.
And, Heather, I could do a better job of measuring my time. I think I probably work too much, but I put out a tremendous amount of media. You do incredible things with your ranch and your ministry and your singing and all the things that come with that when people call you and you minister to them on the phone as well. People don't understand all that you do. But measuring your time is a little easier when you begin with the kingdom perspective that we're in a battle between good and evil. Our job is to love one another. Our job is to know Jesus and make him known. And when you look through those visors, then time flies by pretty fast, but we're able to live in a flow of time, a flow of how we use our time. Because at the end of the day, if I can't say that I've done the best I can today, then I don't stop until I've done my best, And so, but I could definitely heed what the Lord put on your heart to measure my time better. Sometimes maybe it doesn't mean that we're not spending our time wisely doing good things, but maybe sometimes we spend too much time worrying or being concerned with, or if we're walking in unforgiveness, then we're dwelling too much on that offense. We're wasting time, precious time there. Or maybe, we're arguing with people who do not want to know the truth. They need to believe what they need to believe. And so we're wasting time there. So I'm very intrigued to hear more what's on your heart with managing our time. But when we start with, Lord, you live through me, Jesus in me, Jesus in me, loving through me, then our time management is going to look a little different than just escaping to TikTok or escaping to technology.
Yeah, I don't do TikTok, so
you could.
I spend
But yeah,
time on Facebook. We've got a lot of people on here with us today. Alan Holder and Robert Head. Hey, you guys, so good to see you here.
So good to see them.
And Alice, it's so nice that we have people that are really interested in the topics. The topics, they're down to earth and they're real. Yeah. But the key is the things that we learn about these topics can be applied to our heart. And what you're talking about, measuring our time. We only got 24 hours, guys. Yeah. Sometimes we try to squeeze 36, 48 hours into that 24. God gave us a measurement of time for a reason. He keep the Sabbath holy, and it's for rest. We've got to have rest. And I'm learning one thing, like you said yesterday, some days your days do not go as planned.
Most days for me.
Right. Yesterday I thought, okay, I have to make a list because I do try to be a good manager of my time. And I looked out at the barn and I saw one of my cows and I'm thinking, she's going into labor. So now I know how my day's going to go. I'm going to be at the barn because I like to be there for every birth. I don't want to take the chance of losing one.
Right.
But, immediately I started refiguring how my day was really going to go. That old saying, tell God your plans and that'll make him laugh. Just watch him laugh. He'll laugh at you. Because he has already measured our days for us. He's numbered our days. And not only has he numbered them, but he's measured them for us. And when we learn, like you said, to get up in the morning and say, what do you want me to accomplish for you today, Lord? Well, I believe in my heart that making sure that his creature, his creation, had a safe delivery yesterday. Wow. That was part of my stewardship of taking care of his animals. And that was my assignment for that morning. So you have to look at things. You have to be fluid. You have to be flexible, and you have to always be in tune with him. Otherwise, you can just have a ruined day in your mind. Well, that didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I wanted to get this. You can't do it. We've got to let him order our steps. And when we let him order our steps, there's a peace. And I know I've talked about this before, Brett. There's a peace that envelops you because you're sitting in this space of time right where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And there are such things as mute buttons, call on hold, unplug the thing, turn it off, turn the TV, whatever. There are those things that you can do.
Well, this is so good, Heather, because a lot of our friends are watching that, it's so easy to escape stress by escaping into media or other things that waste time. A lot of people don't know that when you're watching television, you're watching a movie, your brain goes into what they call an alpha state. And you're just taking in whatever they're giving you. And folks, they're not giving you good stuff this day and age. You're just alpha. But you got to snap out of it and limit that. That there's an old quote. When you told me what the Lord put in your heart for today's topic, I knew it was so right on. You're always on, but I remembered an old quote that unseized time will always flow to your area of weakness. Unseized time will always flow to your area of weakness. We have to seize the day. We have to seize the time. And some of that time, of course, is time to rest too. I'm the world's worst, at resting. But unseized time, if I don't start the day out, say, Lord, help me today. Help me order my steps today. Help me fight the right battles today, not the silly he said, she said stuff. But help me put first things first. Help me be 100% where I am in the moment, and help me seize the day, the time, and maybe what would it be like, Heather, if just once a week, maybe once a day, but once a week, we put our time into something that will last for the next 5 years instead of so many fleeting things. Folks, you can work yourself to death, and the next day after you die, there will be a want ad for your replacement.
Oh, yeah.
That's very true. Right. But what will not be wasted time is when you love, when you create, music, painting, sculpture, writings, and time invested in others too, time and development too. What's going to matter in the next 5 years? How much time do we spend on things that won't matter in 1 year or 1 week?
Yeah, I call those eternal things that are of eternal value. Robert had posted on here a while ago. He said, don't waste his time. Because his time is precious. Yeah. And really everything is on loan to us. And we're here to be fingers and toes for the Lord. He has put us here to accomplish his purposes, not our purposes. We have a purpose, but we don't own it. It's given to us as a gift. And so when we look at it that way and we realize that it's not really all about us, it's about serving him and what can we do for him today, it makes it a lot easier, because when we're doing it for him, that it is of an eternal value. Don't sweat the small stuff, guys. It's not worth it. There are so many things that come into our lives. It can be people, places, or things. It doesn't matter. They can come into our lives and they are nothing but a time burner. They're worthless. Mm-hmm. In the scheme of eternity, they're not going to matter. And that is the separating of the wheat from the chaff.
Wow. Wow.
Some of that stuff just is not going to matter. So when we're doing something, and I've always used this, I call it an axiom, but a pastor friend of mine told me, how do you know what God's will for your life is? Well, when somebody presents something to you, one of the questions that you can always ask yourself is, if I do this thing, is it going to glorify God? And if the answer is yes, it's going to glorify God, then it's a no-brainer.
There you go.
if it's just going to be a waste of time, um, we're not doing our commander any good. We're not helping him achieve his final plans. And so sometimes stuff just isn't worth it. Sometimes, I hate to say this, it sounds really crass, but sometimes people aren't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Yeah.
people that have no intention of changing. All
Right.
they want to do is use you, abuse you, or just make your day miserable. Those people are not worth your time, because we've only got so much of it, and we need to be about God's business. So we do.
We do. I really love what Alice Bailey says here. And Jeffrey, I'm glad you needed to hear this. Thank you. Alice, she says, when he wants me to do something, I feel it weighing on me. I sometimes hear him say, go ahead, until I do it. Then I feel instant relief and peace when I obey him. And I love that because peace, I often say it, peace is the key. That's wonderful. What do you say, Heather?
I say that's when God gives us the peace that passes all understanding. Hello. I mean, that's a gift from him. And it is definitely a sign that we're in the zone, and that we are in our lane and not somebody else's, because you just feel it.
Peace is the key. Talking people, I've seen I started doing ministry in 83, and I've seen a lot of things happen with churches and ministries in the country and such, and as have you. And I remember in the 80s, it seemed like in the 80s was the height of what's God's will for my life. What's his complete will? What's his perfect will? What's his, permissible will. And I just had a word in my heart was, well, the Bible, what does the Bible say? The Bible says that God's will is for no man to perish, but for every man to come to the knowledge of the truth. So what does he put in your hands to help him accomplish his will? And that's his will for your life. Some of you it's teaching, some of you it's singing, some of you it's writing, some of you it's making money to fund missions or to fund kingdom things. Some of you it's preaching, right? Whatever he's put into your hands to help him accomplish his will, for no man to perish, or for no man to cut, for all men to come to the knowledge of the truth. That's his will for your life. It's really that simple. And you can use your time using those gifts to help him accomplish his will.
And you know what? Our logo is Get Inspired, Be Empowered.
Yeah.
We can't be empowered on our own.
Right.
The power comes from Christ. And I'm going to share a little story with you. I was at a ladies' conference, and there was this little boy. He was 6 years old, and he just happened to be there with his mom at the ladies' conference. And he was so cute. He was just zooming around all over the place, and he had this little model airplane, and it was zoom, zoom, zoom all over the church and everything. And he had the gift of giving. Even at that young age, you could tell, because he would go get a cookie and he would hand it to you. And he just wanted to give things to you. That was his gift. And I guarantee you, when he grows up, that's still going to be his gift. And he's going to be empowered by Christ to do, and he already is, to do those things for other people. But he came up to me and he handed me something. And I'm going to show it to you. This little, I don't know if you can see.
I can see.
Okay, so this little blue gem.
Yeah.
And he handed it to me. And I'm really going somewhere with this, Brent.
Yeah.
y'all just hang in there.
I'm captivated here.
He handed it to me, and I said, "Oh, is this for me, Bobby?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "I'll cherish it always." And he took off. Well, later on, I was showing it to my girlfriend, Angela. And she goes, "You know what that is, don't you?" And I said, "No." And she said, it is what he used in his mind, in his childlike mind, to power that plane of his. It was like an F-14. I think it was an F-14, F-16, something like that. It was a
Wow.
military jet. And he said he would open the belly of that plane up and he would put this up in the belly. And he told Angela, this is the power for my plane.
Oh my gosh.
It's still just, I'll never get rid of this. I may put it on a necklace, but anyway.
You should.
She said, do you realize, Heather, that he just handed you the power? She said, you've got the power. And I just cried. This doesn't do anything, guys. It does nothing. But it just made me realize that I was handed the power by a little boy named Bobby. But more than that, I was handed the power by God himself.
Wow.
And, we can't do anything apart from him. Nothing. We are useless apart from him. And we were talking about going in the hedges and the highways and making others know about Christ. And that's our call on this show as well. If you don't know him, you can contact Brant or me anytime. It doesn't matter. And we will pray with you, because if you don't know him as your Savior and you're thinking, I want what they want, it's really simple. He's there waiting for you just to reach out to him and say, I want you to be my Lord. That's it.
And he will be.
And he'll give you the power.
He'll give you the power. That's a big deal. Okay. That's a big deal. And for a little boy to give you the power to his plane, that's a huge, hey guys, you know what I'm talking about. That's a crown jewel there. And he wanted to give you power. He obviously saw in you and in your ministry something worthy of that. And so that's just very powerful. I would put that on a necklace, and that's a precious thing. That's a precious thing,
It is. So guys, really measure your time wisely.
Yeah.
Let God order your steps and look to him for your power. I think that just wraps up everything in today's show. Don't you think, Brant?
It does. It does. Time is precious. So use it wisely. And that's powerful. That's powerful. Can't wait for the next one, Heather.
I'm ready when you are.
All right. Well, thank you folks for your feedback and your prayers. We'll see you next week for Warrior Talk.
We love you.